Hello, I'm Melissa. Welcome to my channel. I never thought I would be talking about this online, but today I want to share something really personal and meaningful with you, my weight loss journey, and losing 50 pounds with Zepbound, which is a GLP-1. Whether you're struggling with your own weight loss journey, curious about GLP medication, or just looking for some inspiration and support, I hope that my story resonates with you and helps you. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my backstory, what I've tried before, what finally helped, and why I decided to go with Tirzepatide. Let's just right in. I am a mom, a wife, a working professional. Fitness and health have always been part of my life. I've always enjoyed going to the gym, walking, jogging. Working out gives me such high endorphins. They also help with mental health issues and stress. Even though fitness and health have always been a huge part of my life, another big part of my life has also been the struggle with weight. Like many of you, I've spent most of my life dieting on and off, weight going up, going down, and when it goes up, back again, double the pounds. I remember the first time that I was ever placed on a diet, I was like 10 years old. Oh my goodness. I was a child. And then after that, all I remember is always being in a diet, yet always being the fat one. In my family, in my friend group, in church, I always just dealt with body image issue, obesity. I did lose weight for the first time when I was in high school, when I got braces put in, and that's because I couldn't eat. But then I gained it right back. So because of all of that, I do consider myself an experienced or expert dieter, I would say. I've tried every diet that's out there. I mean, you can name it, I've probably tried it. For reals. I've tried keto, vegan, raw vegan, vegetarian. I tried juicing, the carnivore diet. I've done the paleo diet, done intermittent fasting. I've tried diet pills like phentermine several times. B12 shot, even though that's not a diet, but that's supposed to help you with energy. I've done Nutrisystem. That's where they give you a whole box. I don't even know if it's still out there, but a whole box, and it has all prepackaged meals that you're gonna eat, and that's all you can eat. I've done Herbalife. My God, that was probably the worst one. I did lose a lot of weight, but I gained it back in like double fast when I stopped. And Shakeology, Slim Fast. I mean, the thing about these specific diets were that they're just not sustainable, especially being the only one on a diet around me, because no one around me was really big, if they were, interested in losing weight. This is just from my memory. When we remember things were like the star of the show, I don't really remember other people around me, but I do remember always feeling uncomfortable, always having self-esteem issues, and always being the bigger one. I always felt like there was something wrong with me. Why could I not lose weight? I would lose weight, but I could never sustain it. And I would blame it on external factors like my environment. I'm stressed with school, dealing with a lot of traumatic events in my childhood, growing up. They played a huge role. From a very young age, I started coping with all the trauma in my life with food. Food was very comforting for me. Here's the thing. Food was very comforting as well as the survival thing, because I grew up very poor. Sometimes we didn't have food. We lived in shelters. And so food was not something that was guaranteed. On top of that, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, how some things in my body just don't work like other typical people. So that makes it harder for me to lose weight and then maintain it off. I do know the feeling of being motivated on Monday and then discouraged by Friday. With all of these diets, when I would go in, I go all in. And just as I go in, I do have OCD control issues. Once I start seeing that there's limited progress or it just becomes almost unrealistic or unsustainable, I also quit like that. I get frustrated, and if I don't have any control over it, I just get rid of it, which is why I tried all the things. A lot of the things that I listed, I tried several times. It wasn't just one and done. I'm 37. I've been dieting my entire life since I was 10. So you do the math. That's honestly why I also want to share this journey, because I know I'm not the only one. At that time, I thought I was the only one because there was no social media. When I was going through all this in the beginning, I really thought I was the only one. None of my friends were big. That's why I want to share part of my journey. If you feel stuck, if you feel you also have tried all the things and can lose weight, you are not alone. You are not alone. And I know I'm not the only one. I feel validated that there's nothing wrong with me. Well, there is like some things that are wrong with me, but there's also things that can help. At my heaviest, I was almost 300 pounds. My goodness. I'm an emotional eater. I eat if I'm happy. I eat if I'm stressed, angry, sad. That's just how I cope. That's how I coped. I am a work in progress, but that's how I used to cope. I was in graduate school, and if you've done school, college, you know that it can be stressful. I had a full-time job, school at night, and it was a 3-year program. I would work all day. On my way to school, I would grab McDonald's or whatever fast food, and just to stay up because class was done a lot of times 9, 10. I was snacking the whole time in class, stay awake, and I was on survival mode. That was a big part of how I was almost 300 pounds. This was probably like 9 years ago. That's when I was at my heaviest. And at that time, I made a major decision to have bariatric surgery. I knew a couple of people close to me at that time had it, and they were very successful with it, and that gave me hope. So I did have the vertical sleeve surgery. This is where they take part of your stomach and then give you a tiny little new stomach. And I was successful. Not right away. I did take a lot longer than other people, but I still lost over 100 pounds. My gosh, that was huge. And that was very life-changing for me. For the first time, I felt confident. I felt good about myself. And the biggest blessing that came from that was that I was finally able to get pregnant, because we had been trying for over 10 years. And I'm pretty sure it was my weight and all the health issues that come with obesity. I get pregnant. I gain. I cannot lose all of it. I didn't gain all of it, but I gained probably like half of the weight. 2 years later, I got pregnant again, which was last year. And with this pregnancy, I gained like 70 pounds. Bariatric surgery did help with my weight initially. However, after 2 years, the pounds started slowly creeping up. I probably would have gained more if I didn't get pregnant. I was gaining back slowly. The main reason is because with bariatric surgery, the only thing that it changed was just the portion sizes that I could eat, but it didn't change my relationship with food, constant food noise in my head. And I'm going to talk about that because that is big. I didn't know about food noise until recent. Food noise is constant thought of food. I still have that when I had the bariatric surgery. That never went away. I was still obsessed with food. Last year, I was gaining weight and I needed help. I started working with a local registered dietitian. She sent me for blood work, and my blood work showed that I was insulin resistant. I was following her plan, mainly low carb. It wasn't keto, but similar. I lost weight at a slow pace. She wasn't seeing the results that she would expect. But she suggested that I look into Wegovy, which is the other form of Ozempic. This was last year, around February or March. At that time, all the news about Ozempic was coming out, about the shortage, side effects about it. I looked into it, but my insurance didn't cover it. And it was like over $1,000 a month. I was not going to do that. I was scared of the side effects, the negative things around it at that time. So I didn't look any further. And then I got pregnant. During my pregnancy, I did a lot of research on GLPs. I knew this was going to be my last pregnancy. I wanted to do something. I'm almost going to be 40. Now, obesity is more than body image. Now I want to live long enough to see my children grow up. I want to be able to be very mobile, active with my children. I want to be able to keep up with them. Priorities change, and when you have children, your priorities change. My life really does revolve around my children and their interests. Now, I was even more motivated to do something about my weight and my health, because now it was for my children and to look good and feel good. I've done a lot of research, and I follow a lot of doctors that talk about GLP-1s. These medications have been out for many years, however, only related to diabetes and other medical conditions, not for weight loss. This is why people say they're so new. What are the long-term side effects? They're better, I'm sure, than obesity. I was very interested in this last resort because for me, the risks of obesity, like diabetes, heart disease, depression, joint pain, the mortality rates are far more dangerous than whatever the side effects of this medication was from the research that I had done. And what got me even more interested, honestly, was the food noise part, when people started talking about the food noise. And that's when I was enlightened. I wasn't aware that I had that and what a huge problem that was. That's what really caught my attention because, like I said, even after surgery, when I lost over 100 pounds, the food noise was constant. I would go to sleep, wake up thinking about food. As I'm eating, I would think how much longer till I could eat again. What else can I eat? And I'm an Instacarter. I have Instacart, the Target and Walmart delivery app. I was always on those apps, scrolling. What else can I get? This sounds good. I was obsessed with thoughts of food. They were so controlling. I didn't realize until I started hearing about food noise and I thought, oh my gosh, I guess I do think about food all the time. Now that I say this, it's embarrassing. When I told my husband, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to say that I was obsessed with food. Unless you have it, you will never know what an awful burden that feeling is. When I was 10 weeks postpartum, I was medically cleared. I met with my registered dietitian and she suggested Wegovy again. My health insurance does not cover any weight loss medication. I looked into Wegovy and that is a semaglutide, and there is Tirzepatide. The medication name for Tirzepatide is Mounjaro or Zepbound. Mounjaro is for diabetes, Zepbound is for weight loss. It's just the way that the FDA approves it. Research showed people were having less side effects with Tirzepatide compared to semaglutide and better results on Tirzepatide. But it is more expensive than semaglutide. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid that it wasn't going to work. If there's medication that the data showed people are having better results, that's the one I wanted because this is my last resort. She agreed, prescribed Zepbound, sent it to the main manufacturer, pharmaceutical company, Eli Lilly. They mail me the vial and the injections and I have to inject myself once a week. I've been on Zepbound since the first week of June. We're in October. People say, oh, it's a miracle drug. It's a cheating drug, whatever. Cheating, no. Miracle, yes. Yeah, the medication helps, but you have to do your part to lose weight consistently. The main thing that I saw the difference that I felt like, oh my gosh, this is a miracle drug was the food noise was completely gone. I want to cry sometimes. I can't even explain it. I finally felt like a normal person. The food noise, the cravings that used to honestly control my life and my thoughts were gone. For me, that is the best part of this medication, for me personally. Finally able to enjoy other things that don't involve food. I eat when I'm hungry or I know it's time for me to eat because it does suppress your appetite. I am more conscious about when I have to eat. But for the first time, I wasn't obsessing over the thoughts of food. I'm not on my Instacart app adding food or thinking about food all day. I am so grateful. Thank you, Lord, that you gave the wisdom to somebody to create this medication for weight loss because it has completely changed my life in an amazing way. The part that is the most amazing to me is the mental freedom around food. I'm able to stick to the plan and eat to nourish my body. I always wanted to be like Kourtney Kardashian, how she's very strict and follows her plan. This medication has helped with that. My journey continues. I still need to lose 30, 40 more pounds. I'm still working with my registered dietitian. I'm almost done. One of the biggest challenges that I've experienced being on this medication is not the injections and it's not the side effect. It's the stigma and the negative opinions from other people. That's probably the worst part about being on GLP-1. People have opinions about everything and that's okay. Everybody is entitled to their own opinions. And you've heard it. You probably think it. Just eat less. Work out harder. I'm still learning to tune out the negativity and just remind myself that those opinions don't matter. What really matters is my health, my happiness, my personal reasons to be alive for my children. That's all that matters, honestly. If losing weight is something that you're interested in and you've also tried a lot of things or feel stuck, like where it was, talk to your doctor, do your research. Don't let this negative stigma or the thought of what other people might think or their opinions hold you back because it could change your life in amazing ways. Life is short. You should probably live in the body that you're happy with. Create the life that you want. Surround yourself with positivity, people that are very like-minded, growth mindset. In my next video, I'm going to answer the most common questions I get about Zepbound because when I tell people that I'm a GLP-1, I get asked the same questions. And these are the same questions that I also had, so I get it. I am excited to answer all of these. This is my personal experience. Thank you for letting me share my story. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, comment below. I would love to hear your stories.